This is Gaggia's latest machine, a dual boiler beast. It's called the Gaggia Classic GT. And my name's Billy and we're going to run through this machine today. We're going to use it and we're going to switch it on. So this machine is obviously the latest in the lineup of the Gaggia machines, and they've chosen to use the Gaggia Classic name. Now, it doesn't look exactly like the previous Gaggia Classics. It's a lot taller. It's got this gauge on the front, new buttons, and it generally doesn't follow suit with the Gaggia Classic theme because it has two boilers, one dedicated for espresso and the other for steam and hot water. Now, the machine is love it or hate it. I actually quite like the industrial look, but it has divided the coffee community in whether they appreciate the sort of more industrial design or whether it does actually fit in. Now, where I've got it here, I think it does look the part. I love the angles, and when the light comes in through the window in the evening, it catches it and looks amazing. All these different angles light up and catch the sunset, and it genuinely looks really nice. And I've become really fond of it. I've actually got to give it back to Gaggia this week, and I'm really going to miss seeing it on its spot here. I'm looking forward to going back to my Gaggia Classic, but we'll get onto the reasons for that later. Now, this machine has a pretty quick heat up time. These two buttons here will indicate when it's ready. This middle one here is for the brew temperature, and when that's a solid light, we'll know that it's ready to brew espresso, and this one indicates steam. If you're not into milky drinks and you just want an Americano, you can just tap that over and it changes it over to the hot water temperature, which will keep it stable at around 70 degrees. I like my milky drinks, so we're going to test out steam today. Now, in terms of the design, we've kind of covered it. Industrial, sleek, love it or hate it. These sort of paddle things at the front. It's also got a touchscreen with 4 capacitive buttons on the front. I've not read the manual, and since I've had it, I've not really needed to. It's all very self-explanatory and intuitive to use. You've got 2 PIDs which control the boiler temperature, which means you've got really good control over what you're brewing. Now, to fill the machine with water, the water tank is fixed at the back. There's no option to fill it up at the front, and I feel like this could be a downside if you're under a cabinet. So in a kitchen, for example, if you needed to move this machine, you know, it's about 12 kilos, so the weight of a small child or like a medium-sized big dog, I think that would be a struggle for me. Where it is, where I've got it, it's no struggle at all. And I do actually need to fill it with some water, so let's get on and do that now to show you. So just place that down and fill it up. Now, the water tank holds 2 litres of water. The steam boiler has a capacity of 0.9 litres, and the actual espresso boiler has a capacity of 120 millilitres. So, in terms of the screen, the base screen that it lands on shows you the temperature of your brew boiler, what it's getting to, and it says it's nearly at its target temperature, which means this button should go solid any moment now. Anyway, to adjust the temperature of this brew PID, all we need to do is press positive and it will maintain that temperature pretty accurately is what I found. The steam boiler always takes a bit longer. Now, if we cycle through that menu, we've got all these different options which you can play through. Now, the first is all about this button here, which is pre-infusion. We've got 3 options for pre-infusion, light, medium and dark roast. Each option will produce a low flow of water to the puck for 6, 4 and 2 seconds, but you can also do that manually up to 20 seconds. It's also got a step down period for a small bloom, and you can also do this yourself manually for up to 15 seconds. Now, there is a preset function which is volumetric, so you can set your preset espresso and just click that preset and it will stop at that volume. Now there is some water that's always retained by the puck. It's volumetric, it doesn't dose by weight, so there will be a little bit of fluctuation in your preset function, but it's not that dramatic is what I found in testing. I once had a shot for 44 milliliters, and the widest range on the same grind size was producing a shot of 41, and the rest of them were pretty close. So I do believe that it's a good working volumetric dosing, which I'm really pleased about. Now there are eco settings as well, so if you don't want steam or hot water, you just want the espresso, you can set it to an eco setting where the steam boiler is just off. You've also got a smart on feature, so you can program it to turn on at a certain time in the morning, which I found really useful if I want it to be hot, ready when I wake up, so I can just walk in, make my drink and be ready to go. Now coming down, you'll see this pressure gauge, which shows numbers from 0 to 15 bar. Now the machine has an adjustable OPV, which is just down here, and you can just twist that with a flathead screwdriver and you get change of pressure immediately when you're brewing. All you need to do to adjust that is put it in a blind basket and adjust it until you get to that desired range. For me, I'm brewing at 9 bars today. Now you'll see that it's not reading 0 even when we're not brewing. That's because the gauge goes inside the boiler, and because there's always water in that brew boiler, it does read at a pressure, so we know that it's very accurate. And when I've been brewing, it's very responsive, and the ramp up is pretty quick and noticeable. Now underneath here, we've obviously got the portafilter, which is spouted, dual spouted. It's a plastic portafilter, but it does feel nice in the hand, and it's got that lovely G emblem for Gaggia there. Now, just to the left, we've got the hot water outlet for when you're brewing an Americano. Behind it, you've got your OPV outlet, and to the right is your steam wand, which is professional setup, and it feels very nice and has a single hole steam tip. Underneath is your drip tray, which has a large capacity and is also adjustable. So all you need to do is push up your OPV outlet, which also adjusts. You can then move your drip tray up. So if you're just producing espresso and don't want to have a big drop when you're brewing, you can easily do that like so. And if you're into your bigger drinks with your bigger cups, there's room for that, which I think is a huge improvement of the Gaggia Classic, because most people at some point need to get a slim drip tray so they can fit under their big mugs. Right. In terms of switching it on and off, you've obviously got this button here, but the main button to switch it on and off is right behind, underneath the power switch, which is exactly the same connection as the Gaggia Classic. Now in the box, you do have accessories with it, which I'll go and grab. So it comes with a lovely Gaggia wooden tamper, a single basket, and a horrible plastic scoop, which I really wish they would just get rid of altogether. So the machine is fully heated up. We've got the solid light for steam ready. So I say we go ahead and make a coffee with this machine. Let's do it. Now, that is already pretty hot, and I always feel that's the most important part to be warm. You want your portafilter and basket to be hot to touch before you start to brew, and that is, we've checked that, so we can get on and make a coffee. So I've pre-weighed out an 18-gram dose, And I'm going to use the Gaggia MDF 55 to grind my beans. Quick blind shake. And then into that. Give it a bit of a tap. I'm going to use the Gaggia tamper. Which looks lovely. So I've just moved you ever so slightly there. I'll get my scale under. Get that all nicely done. And we're going to brew this with a medium profile pre-infusion. So just get that going now. Get rid of the excess. So you can hear that boiler kicking in there. It's really handy being able to do this at the same time. It's made making a coffee super quick. There we go. Espresso and milk done pretty much at the same time there. And I say we adjust you so we can rinse my latte out. So that's always fun. Right. I don't actually know what to go for. I never quite know before I'm pouring what design I'll go for. Should I go for anything fancy or just a standard design? We could go for a little swan. Not my finest swan, but certainly not my worst. There's always more pressure on a camera. I'm gonna have a sip. I've not actually had a coffee yet this morning, so. Oh God, it's so nice. I didn't even fully show you the latte out. Have a look at this. Get a load of this. Ooh. You can tell I've like drawn out the wing a bit, but doesn't that look nice, eh? Yummy, yummy. I've gone all happy now because I've had my coffee. Right, so the biggest thing about having a dual boiler is the fact that, you know, you don't need to keep on fluctuating the temperature from your brew to your steam, and it makes things a lot easier, especially when you've got people over for a drink. I found when I've had friends over, like before with the Gaggia Classic, I've been making coffees for half an hour for a group of people and stuck in that cycle of heat up, cool down, heat up, cool down. And with this one, it's just bang, bang, bang. You can practice latte art with little to no stress, and it makes it generally a much more satisfying thing. I think Gaggia, in creating their first sort of prosumer machine, have really smashed it. Of course, the design is not for everyone, but I think it is a classic Gaggia design. You know, it's boxy, it's sturdy, and the most important thing is it's built to last. You know that this is going to be around for a long time. You've also got the brilliant Gaggia warranty. I think you've got 5 years for parts and 2 years for labour when you buy this. So you know that if you do encounter any struggles or any problems with it, which, you know, do happen, machines break, you know you're in good hands and you'll be sorted out. In terms of value for money, I do think it packs a punch. The espresso that I can make from this machine is exceptional. You know, I've not got a Gaggiuino on my Classic, but I do have the PID and the flow control. And I think I can make very good coffee for that. But I think this one, considering you don't have to do no modifications to it, it's ready to go out of the box. It's a phenomenal machine, but it does come at that price range of about, I don't know, just over £1,500 if you're in the UK. So yeah, that's the Gaggia Classic GT. I have to say, I think it's a really beautiful machine. It catches the light in ways that I find really appealing. And I think the design of it, although divisive, in person is much better, and I don't think pictures actually do it justice. Steam power is everything I want in a machine. The espresso, delicious. The customizability of the coffee profiles is very good. Obviously, you don't have flow profiling where you can change the pressure at different parts of the shot, and that's one of the reasons I'm kind of looking forward to getting back to my Gaggia Classic, because I've got that flow profiling ability. And in the future, I think it would be very useful to take the PID technology that Gaggia clearly have and introduce it to a single boiler Gaggia Classic to file that sort of mid-range of the Gaggia Classic stock and the GT, because I think there are people that want the reliability of a Gaggia Classic but don't want the responsibility of having to modify it themselves. There are places where you can go to buy a modified Gaggia Classic, but I think Gaggia producing their own would get a great deal of business and please a lot of people that are kind of asking for that. Let me know your thoughts on the Gaggia GT in the comments, and let me know if you think they should introduce a single boiler PID. Maybe if we can push them that way, they might do it. But yeah, pretty stoked with it, to be fair. Sad to let it go. Actually, one thing I didn't say, if you are leaving this machine for a period of time, you can drain the boiler without doing anything too crazy. All you need to do is unscrew the shower screen and group head and just pop a little button up there and it will just drain all out, so you don't have a full boiler getting all weird while you're on your hollybobs. So that is also something I think is pretty cool. And with that, we'll end this episode of the Coffee Bill. If you did enjoy this, make sure you're following, subscribing, liking, all that jazz. I would very much appreciate the support.